Hidden within the abyss lies the secret to your freedom, Wolfie. Seek it out, or be doomed for all eternity. You are their last hope.
Just when you thought I was done, after having done Season 1 with Shadal, Season 2 with whatever mess I ended up with there, and then Sealed Only Live where I gave you the chance to choose, I'm pulled right back in. Welcome to Sealed Only Dark World, baby. Now, as always in true TCG Bowl fashion, this entire setup that I have here is completely jerry-rigged, and I have no idea what the quality of it's going to be, if it's even usable at all. But you know what? That's how we do things around here. I have to stand up to do this recording for you. You're welcome. In this series, we are going to take this poor little Dark World structure deck, and we're going to build something as competitive as possible without a budget. Yeah, you heard me right. Trust me, you'll understand what that means in just a moment. In addition to this, of course, let's just dump some of these in here, because we're gonna need them. And there's a box. Now, you might not quite realize what this means yet, but of course, in true me fashion, we're not doing this in a normal, hey, I get $40 a week nonsense. No, 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 no. We have to make everything overcomplicated. I've brought back a friend who'll teach you later, but for now, we're going to open some cardboard for what could be the first time in... I don't know, I think the last time I actually opened product properly was literally Shadal from scratch. Oh no, actually I lied. We opened that one box where I pulled a Baron before she was reprinted. Oh, here we go. I've been looking forward to this so much. Now, you may want to know what the reason behind the Dark World choice is, and that's actually one of the community members. Allegedly, Michael played a very based Dark World deck back when we did Sealed Only Live. Also, this field center is actually pretty good looking. I really like the big graph up. What do you have to teach me about the deck, huh? You can discard your monsters and then summon them! Who could have really guessed? It wants you to pick up the Albaz structure deck? But, like, why? Huh. Look, I'm not really quite sure why they would recommend half of these sets, so you know what, we're just gonna not. What we're really after, though, is in this, and let's see if oh, they made a little tab because I'm the worst. Hey, nice. So, one of the main cards of this structure deck is Rainbow, over King of the Dark World. You may see that the light is a little bit flashy-washy, but, you know, it is not much I can do about it. This is the best I can accomplish. Rainbow, of course, you can special summon this card from your graveyard by returning a level 7 or lower Dark World monster you control to the hand, and if this is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add a level 5 or higher Dark World monster from your deck to your hand. This is Dark World's new base, new. It is the new searcher for Dark Worlds, and it is incredibly good, and we are going to make absolute use of this. Dark World Puppetry is a banishment card. We can banish 3 cards from any graveyard at quick speed, and then the turn we don't use that effect, we can banish this from the graveyard to get back a Dark World from the banish zone. Archives is also an incredibly powerful card. During the main phase, we can discard a Dark World monster, and if we do, Dark World monsters we control gain attack equal to the level discarder of the monster in hand times 100. So essentially, if we discard a level 8, that's 800 extra attack for all of our Dark Worlds. More importantly, if a Dark World monster is discarded, we can discard an additional card to draw 2 more cards. It becomes relevant because we want to discard our entire hand. Grapha, of course, is our main boss monster this time around, and my god, that shine looks incredible. I don't know how the focus is going to work on this, because we are once again recording from my phone. Because you know what? I own a very expensive webcam, but there was no way I was going to be able to use that with this setup. Good for us. Grapha, on the other hand, though, is essentially a Mega Bungus on legs that when we perform a negate with him, which we can do for any normal spell, trap, or monster effect, we can essentially make ourselves discard a card which triggers a lot of the Dark World effects. Accession is our fusion spell. We can fuse a Dark Fiend monster, which will become relevant for what we're attempting to build. Then we have Gent-Up, which we can discard from our hand to search the field spell, one of the strongest cards in our entire deck. Parl, which can special summon a Dark World from the graveyard to our opponent's side of the field, which becomes relevant with Ceruli. Punishment, which is an incredibly strong trap card, is actually a counter trap. When a monster would be normal or special summoned, we can negate that summon and then discard a Fiend card, which triggers a lot of our effects on our opponent's turn. Unfortunately, this card misses timing really, really easily. It has to be basically out of chain, and when something is summoned that doesn't start a chain. It's a little bit weird, but it's still very good. We then have Old Rainbow, not the greatest card in the set, but if we go for what I want to do, we might have to play him anyway. Lucent, which is just not good. Latinum, which is also just not good. We got good old Gold. I can't believe that Gold's back, baby. We aren't playing real him either. Silva, of course, is the main Dark World monster we will be looking at a lot, because with Silva, we can force our opponent to, not discard, return 2 cards from their hand to the bottom of the deck. Incredibly good. Braun, we probably won't want to play either. Beige is very old, and we probably won't play him either. Brow is basically when he is discarded, he draws 1 card, and then if an opponent's card effect discarded him, we will draw 2. Scar, we probably won't play. Cocky, we probably won't play. Gren, I'm pretty sure we won't play either. Ceruli is important because Ceruli, when special summoned, lets us, or basically uses the effect that your opponent discards a card which will trigger Silva and other Dark World cards. Important. Zur and Ronge are both terrible normal monsters I'll never see play. We do get some dangers actually, but which I am really surprised about in this deck. We get 4 dangers in each one of these. Like, we have a discard engine very, very early. Unfortunately, Tsushinoko, of course, is at 1, but the rest of them we can do whatever we want with. For some reason, we get a Lilith, a Fabled Raven, and Backjack. I'm not really sure why these were included, but I guess they are filler cards. Dark World Dealings, of course, lets us draw a card and discard a card. Charge into Dark World, I don't remember. I think... oh no, this is the special summon one, I don't want that. Gateway to the Dark World isn't really important either. Dark World Lightning is a good sideboard card for now. It basically lets us target a set card, destroy it, and then we discard a card. Drag Down into the Grave will allow us to choose a card from our opponent's hand, and our opponent to choose one from ours to discard. Card Destruction, of course, Card Destruction is a very funny card. Force of Darkness is not really that good. Dark World Brainwashing is very funny. Basically, if you have more than 3 cards in our hand, we can activate it, and that will let us negate an effect and then throw a card from our hand. And then we can keep doing that an infinite number of times per turn, as long as we have cards in our hand, but I don't think I'll play it. Dark Smock's not bad, or not good. Mind Crush is not good. We get Deck Devastation Virus in this, which is really funny, which is probably a good sideboard card, because playing this in main deck would be insane. We get Paleozoic Dynamiscus, because it discards a card for cost, I suppose, which is really, really good. We also get Skill Drain. We're gonna play the ever-living crap out of Skill Drain for a while. This card's just awesome. We get ourselves the old Grapha, of course, one of our main playmakers. When this is discarded, it pops a card on the field. It is as easy as that, baby. Snow, when it is discarded, lets us search any Dark World card and add it to our hand, which is also incredibly good. And what makes the deck really tick? The Gates of the Dark World. Basically, we can banish a Fiend monster from our graveyard to send a Fiend monster from our hand to the graveyard. It triggers a lot of effects. It can summon Genta. It can just allow us to get our play started. Very good card. And we get a second Ceruli for God knows what reason. In addition to that, we get a bunch of shenanigans. It's who cares? But yeah, what Dark Worlds really want to do is that we want to actively discard our entire hand, summon a lot of big bunguses, and eventually we want to build towards a deck that can handle even the hardest of enemies. For now, though, allow me to just kind of open the rest of these and sleeve them back up for you. All right, that took me like 15 minutes to unpack all this stuff. I can't believe it took me that long, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you a deck profile in person for the first time in probably 2 years, because this deck is kind of crazy for being just a structure deck. We are going to be playing 3 Genta. Genta is the starter of our entire deck. Genta can be pitched to search our field spell, which gets our plays going. We're going to maximize as many of those as we can. We're also going to be playing 3 Snow. Snow, of course, can search us any Dark World card, which is essentially exactly what we want in the deck. It's perfect. We're also, for now at least, going to be playing 3 Brow. Brow just lets us draw additional cards, and it's a good discard target, and considering we don't really have much to go off of, we're going to need them. We're going to be playing 1 Ceruli and 1 Parl. They kind of go together as one, because you can kind of summon Ceruli to your opponent's field and then use Parl effect to summon it back again to do more discarding crap. It's going to be needed. Speaking of discarding, we're playing 2 Silva. Silva can both summon itself and force your opponent to return cards to the deck, which is absolutely crazy for a low-power deck like this. In addition, we're playing 2 big Grapha and 2 big Rainbow. Rainbow is going to search either Silva or Grapha, which is really, really good, and both of these can summon themselves from the graveyard by returning one of the lower ones to the hand. It's really good. As for support cards, we're playing our 1 Snake, because it's at 1, poor Snake. We're playing 3 Danger Mothman, because both of the effects of Mothman are incredibly powerful in this deck. If we miss on Mothman and have to discard it, we draw a card and discard a card of our choice, which is almost better than hitting it, which just lets us summon it and draw a card. This is really, really good. In addition, we're playing 2 Danger Bigfoot, and we're playing 2 Danger Thunderbug, mostly for the discard, but also these guys are big bunguses, which is very important for us. As for spells, we're playing double Dark World Archive. This card is very important because we are going to have a hard time searching it before our deck gets a bit stronger, so I'm choosing to play 2. We're playing a singular card destruction. This allows us to discard our entire hand and activate every Dark World in there, which is just great. In addition to more draw spells, we are playing 3 Dark World Dealings. Hopefully we can change those out for some more powerful cards later down the line, but for now they're going to be there. We're playing 2 of the fusion spell Dark World Accession. We are going to need this to get to our only big bungus, so why not? Finally, we're playing 3 Gates of the Dark World for now, because I feel like we are going to have to find that card to do most of our plays. We may as well get as many as we can. Lastly, we've got the trap cards, and we actually have quite a few. We're playing 2 Dark World Punishments, 2 Skill Drain, and 2 Dynamicious. We are kind of lacking in the department of real removal outside of Grapha, so these cards kind of do the best of both worlds. Paleozoic lets us banish a card and discard a card, which is great. Darkwood Punishment is just a solemn strike, essentially, but it just lets us discard a card instead. And Skill Drain can absolutely shut down a lot of decks because it's freaking Skill Drain. It should also be mentioned that we don't really care about Skill Drain because none of the Dark Worlds really have on-field effects except for our 3 copies of Big Grapha. It's the only extra deck card we got. It's gonna be there. Surprisingly enough, though, this deck actually comes with a side deck. We have 15 cards. We're playing 1 copy of Dark Smog. It's not a very good card, but we can basically banish a card from a graveyard to discard a fiend. It will never come up, but I had nothing better to put there. We're also playing the 3rd copies of Dynamicious and Skill Drain in case we need them. In addition to this, we're also playing the last copies of Punishment, Bigfoot, and Thunderbird, because who knows, they might come up. Lastly, we're playing the 3 copies of Puppetry to get rid of cards from the graveyard, the 3 copies of Deck Dev Virus for decks that we can absolutely shut down using them, and 3 copies of Dark World Lightning, hoping that that can remove some back row or something. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this is the deck we're going to be playing for episode 1. I guess the only thing left to do is leave this over to an old friend.
It feels like forever since we last went here, you know? But I suppose fate has its ways. Go ahead and turn on the lights. I'll get things ready.
You know, I'm honestly surprised you even offered to help to begin with.
Would you be shocked if I said I wasn't doing it for you? I've still got friends stuck in there, you know? Besides, this entire mess is your fault to begin with. It's only fair you do something about it.
Look, you already know I'm terrible at Yu-Gi-Oh! I have no idea why you bet on me winning to begin with.
I thought you'd at least do better than you did. Uh-huh, finally got it.
Hey, is that my old duel disc?
You bet your sweet butt that it is. Thankfully, it's still got the teleport locations registered. Though considering the game went dark, I doubt they'll work like you want them to.
Look, this may be the only chance I have of bringing all of my cards back, so I'll take what I can get.
Hey, this isn't just about your cards. Anyways, take it. I'm only going to give you the rundown once, so pay attention. Once you finish the Dragoon Cup, the game corrupted itself since you were supposed to win. That means the only thing left in there is jumbled up code, which we have named the Abyss. Whenever you enter the Abyss, you should see this. This is, well, you. Not only will it keep track of your current life total, but also the amount of money you are holding on to, as well as your experience and items. If your life total ever reaches 0, you'll be knocked out. At that point, I'll have to evacuate you, which means you lose all your items and money. Not only that, but the floor will reset, forcing you to start over from scratch. You'll lose life from losing duels or certain event cards. Speaking of which, each floor of the Abyss is made up of a deck of cards. These range from duel cards that force you to have a duel against a random opponent, event cards which have a random effect, both good and bad, or a supporter card, which are created by those who support you on Ko-fi through a membership. These could force you to have a duel against the supporter, give you a reward, or both. It's up to them, really. In addition, there are 2 special cards always available in the deck. The escape card will allow you to retreat from the Abyss without losing any progress, and keep your loot. Lastly, there's the rival card. In order to advance deeper into the Abyss, you must defeat them. Once you do defeat an opponent, there are plenty of treasures to be had in form of treasure cards. They can contain money, items, or even wild cards that allow you to purchase a single card of that rarity. It may sound a bit complicated all at once, but I'm sure you and the viewers will understand once it gets going. Anyways, are you ready to give it a shot?
You know, you didn't have to throw it so freaking hard. Anyways, I guess that means you'll be coming along too.
Well, I don't have much of a choice. The only reason I can still manifest in the real world is due to your glasses. I'm more or less just a duel spirit now.
I'm sure it'll be fine. You've probably been through worse, let's be honest. Let's give this whole thing a shot and see what our Week 1 Dark Worlds can do. So, welcome to essentially what is going to be the Abyss screen for this little series. On this screen right now, we have 3 separate decks. We've got ourselves the Adventure deck, which we will be pulling actions from, the Treasure deck, where loot awaits, as well as the Event deck, where there are cards with certain happenings that are going to absolutely screw with us most likely. How the Abyss is going to work is that we are going to continuously draw cards from the Adventure deck until we either find the boss within and defeat them, or we get knocked out. Let's try and not do that second one. We could also opt to take the Escape card whenever it appears within the deck, as that will allow us to get the hell out of the Abyss and basically claim our spoils. Within the deck today, we are going to have 15 cards, whereof 10 of them are duel cards, the 11th card being the boss himself. We have 3 event cards as well as 2 escape cards. I can't count, I miscounted, I'm sorry, I meant there's 10 duel cards total, whatever. They are within the deck and we are simply going to go as is. Whenever we defeat a level of the Abyss, we will increase the number of cards hidden within this deck, as well as the treasure and event deck, so they will continuously grow throughout the series, and if you have any ideas of what we might stuff in there, do leave them down in the comments below or send them on the Discord channel, because you know what, that's where we do things. Also, do keep in mind that setting all of this up has been absolute torture, so if you would like to drop a like or subscribe to the channel, that would be a huge help. Without any further ado though, let's shuffle this deck up and take our first adventure card into the Abyss. And we're starting off with a ranked duel. I really don't like that, but okay, sure. We'll jump into ranked. Alright, so we have gone ahead and we are playing ranked, and unfortunately our first ever duel is up against Fire King Snake Eyes. We are able to go first and we activate Archives, and we have to summon one of our guys in order to pitch the Snow, and we also pitch the Rainbow to Archives. We draw ourselves 3 new cards, which is basically a really good refill, to be honest, as we can now activate our Rainbow in order to search the Grapha in order to get into something. We do pick our Brow back up here in order to summon our big Rainbow before activating a Session, getting our big Grapha onto the board. Graph, of course, will activate and not pop anything. We will then use a Session in order to pitch the Cerulli of all things, because we actually have a Silva in hand. We can activate that to pitch the Silva, Silva activating to special summon itself in order to make our opponent shove 2 cards back into the deck, which is incredible. We then get it back to our hand to summon the Grapha, and we then pass turn with another Rip 2 in hand. It's about as good as we can get. Our opponent then activates Fire King Sanctuary to get Fire King Island onto the board, and of course they're going to choose to use the Fire King Island effect, pitching Flamberge Dragon. Oh Christ, and at this point I'm realizing, oh no, we're actually up against one of the best decks of the format. As soon as they activate an effect, we are going to use the Graph effect in order to pitch Silva to force our opponent down to 1 card, and unfortunately, the 1 card they choose to keep, of course, is the 1 card starter. Anima's going to come out, and just to prevent him from getting any advantage here, we are going to get rid of 2 of our cards to make another big Grapha. It's probably the best thing we could do. They summon Snake Eye Ash. Ash is going to get them Poplar, and they are off to the races because 1 card combos are fun. Poplar gets summoned, then activates its effect in order to get themselves the card I can never remember the name of. Its original Sinful Spoils something. Snake Eye. Hey, who would have guessed? Deactivate the effect of Ash to get Oak onto the field, Oak targeting the Ash in order to special summon the Ash. Have you seen this combo before, ladies and gentlemen? They are going to go ahead and link 3 for Flame Princess, which is going to activate the Poplar to set the Poplar. Flame Princess is going to summon Flamberge Dragon, and Flamberge Dragon is going to turn one of our Graphas into a nice little spell trap card. They're then going to go into the Salamangreat link for some reason, using the Snake Eye in order to tribute the Poplar in order to summon the Ponix. Ponix is going to get them the Fire King special summon spell, which is Circle of the Fire Kings, as they go into Zelantis. They then link into Nightmare Phoenix in order to tag out our Rainbow and the Phoenix, which is going to trigger the Raging Phoenix. This is going to get complicated. Raging Phoenix is going to get the attack to punch over our big Grapha. Big Grapha is going to activate the special summon the Grapha from our Bannerstone as we pitch the Brow and force our opponent to pitch their only card. We're going to activate as much as we can here to try and get card advantage back, drawing 3 cards, which are actually really good ones. They activate Zelantis, forcing us to resummon anything as everything comes back onto the board. This is going to trigger the Princess to destroy both cards on the field. Unfortunate. At this point, they're going to link it to Ambler Whale Pass, turn back to us, and we essentially have free reign as we draw another rainbow. Dark World this session we're going to activate in order to pitch one of the rainbows in order to activate the archives pitching the other rainbow, so we can search everything we could ever need. We go up to 6 cards possible as we go ahead and we activate a session going to banish the Grapha as well as the Ceruli to get a negate. We're going to activate the Grapha to pop the Fire King Islands. They're going to attempt to Promethean Princess us. We're going to negate it to discard a card to draw an additional card. The field gets blown up, and of course, because Ambler Whale's being destroyed by a card effect that isn't ours, it's not going to trigger, and I am not kidding you when I say this, our opponent rage quits. You heard that right, this is a ranked duel. He could have gone into game 2 and 3, but no, he just closes out and leaves. We won. We took a victory against fucking Snake Eyes, the best deck of the format. With a structure deck! I can't believe this. This might have been the best Yu-Gi-Oh! I've ever played, ever. I got nothing, folks. This was a great duel. So, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that. We technically won the ranked duel. Like, they surrendered. It counted. They just quit out of the entire match. They didn't want to play the other two. Maybe they just got upset that they lost to 3 literal structure decks? I don't think Shaddoll from scratch could have ever done that. Regardless, though, this card now goes into the discard pile, which I haven't actually decided where it's gonna go, so, hey, no, I don't want it. Hey now. Discard pile goes over there, I guess. I should have made a spot for a discard pile. This does mean, however, we get to draw a treasure card. This is the most important part. Let's draw ourselves our first ever treasure. It's a pile of coins. It's a small pile of coins, and we will gain ourselves $1d4. So essentially how all of the treasures work is they will give us a random amount when we decide to cash out. So this is a 1d4. We'll add it to our little pile over here to show our active treasures, I suppose. We have nothing else to do. Let's head back into the deck. It's a normal duel, thank God. I mean, the other one technically ended up being a normal duel as well, but like, I can't believe that shit. All right, normal duel. Alright then, it's duel time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going up against what appears to be Eldritch for the first time in, I don't know, it's probably since Shaddoll from scratch as I've actually seen this deck. It's been a really long time. They activate Cursed Eldland in order to search a bunch of cards, set 4, and pass, and our hand is not exactly looking great against this. We go ahead and we activate Genta, which gets met with a Solemn Strike, which I suppose is fair. They take 1,500, and we're forced to activate our second Genta to get into our field spell. Now that we have our field spell, we can try and pop off, so we're going to activate the field spell. Skill Drain in this matchup is completely useless, so I'm hoping to pitch that. Unfortunately, we only get to Bigfoot. Bigfoot going to destroy Eldland. He then activates Dogmatica Punishment, sending the weird Link 5 from Tri-Brigades in order to send, I believe, Garura to the graveyard in order to draw a card. He also activates the Eldland effect in order to send an Eldritch to the graveyard. He does summon the Conquistador here when we try and go into Thunderbird and try to start off our combo a little bit. We manage to pitch a Snow, draw a Snow, as well as summon Genta, which means we get another card from the Snow we discarded, so I actually decided to go for the Dark World Dealings, hoping to get more extension. We go for the Dealings, unfortunately just drawing into a punishment, which means you have to discard the second Snow here to search something to pitch for our punishment. I decide to search Big Agrafa just to have a negate for a summon as well as a face-up destruction, which seems just about right. We then set our cards, we go ahead and we destroy the Hakero and punch for 1,300 because that's about as much as we're going to be able to do. We then pass our turn to our opponent with our 2-card set, both Dynamiscus and the summon negate, which is pretty good. He draws himself another Cursed Eldland, which is unfortunate as he draws himself a Hakero, now having basically a full hand of Eldritch cards. He sets 1 card, sends the Eldritch to kill the Thunderbird for some reason, then uses the Eldritch, gets rid of the Hakero in order to summon the Eldritch to the field. When this happens, he goes into battle phase, he starts to attack, and I decide to activate Dynamicious here in order to banish the Eldritch, pitching the Grapha. Grapha's effect is going to activate, we pop the sent card that we already know is the Elixir, which is going to activate to set another Hakero from the deck. He then ends his turn with Conquistador's effect and Hakira's effect activating to get 2 of the Scarlet Sanguines set to the field, because that's what Eldritch tends to do. He passes back to us, and we draw ourselves a Thunderbird, which isn't exactly great, but we'll pick back up the Genta in order to summon the Grapha from our graveyard, activating Gaze of the Dark World to banish the Genta, and he goes off and attempts to start activating effects. But at this point, he probably realizes that the jig is up, as we are just going to break the board again, and he decides to scoop them up. We take another win in this episode. What the hell's going on? Well, I guess we take another victory in a duel. I can't believe it's gone this easy, but yeah, the duel falls to our might, and we get to draw ourselves another treasure card. Hey, a stack of coins! This is the highest amount of money that we can find in the deck so far, because we're still on level 1, but that's $1d6 added to our collection. Now I kind of want to find an escape card just to grab this money and leave. I wanted them to be next to each other, but I guess Tabletop Simulator doesn't want to cooperate! I'll just... There you go. I guess we'll do it like that. I don't see a reason why we wouldn't just continue at this point, so let's draw ourselves another card. Oh, son of a gun, it's another ranked duel. Oh, that's terrible. Well, we managed to defeat Snake Eyes the first time. I guess we're just gonna have to try again. Alright then, ranked duel number 2, and it turns out we're up against Hero, which is kind of scary now that Malicious has been turned to 3. Our hand is not entirely that great, but we do manage to get ourselves into a big Grapha, as well as drawing an additional card being Dynamicious, which is pretty good. We set it and pass to our opponent, who basically has full Hero combo, so I'm not entirely sure how we do this. He attempts to infinite impermanence our Grapha. We're just going to activate the Silva effect here in order to force him to shuffle back 2 of the cards. He goes for Vion and Plasma, which makes perfect sense, as he goes for a Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is going to summon Stratos, which is going to allow him to activate Stratos to search for Ferris. We've all seen the Hero combo before, it hasn't really changed all that much. He goes for Ferris, of course, with another Stratos in hand, is going to be crazy. He normally summons the Stratos, but instead of popping the back row, he actually decides to add another Hero monster, which I'm a little bit confused by, but he goes for Malicious, and then I'm like, ah, that's what he's doing. He goes for the Ferris effect, pitching the Malicious to summon Ferris. Ferris, of course, activating its effect to set Vion, or sorry, Increase, and then Increase gets Vion. But on the Increase effect, we decide to Dynamicious it because that is dangerous. Bigfoot is going to get discarded, which means we get to pop one of the Stratoses, but he activates Mask Change. Mask Change is going to tag it out for Hero Blast, of all things. Blast is going to activate to set Grapha to 1600, which is unfortunate. He goes for the Malicious here in order to summon another Malicious from the deck. He uses those 2 to go into Cross Crusader summoning back the Malicious. Malicious then being tributed to search for Honest Neos. Honest Neos, of course, is going to let him get over basically anything on our deck, so that thing is scary. He goes to battle and punches over our big Grapha. Grapha activating its effect to summon back our other Grapha, which forces him to discard the Honest Neos. He then kills Silva, passes the turn back to us, and we draw into Brow, which is possibly the best card we could have drawn. We get ourselves the Dark World of Session back, pitch the Brow, draws us another card, which is Thunderbird. We go to battle, we punch over Cross Crusader, which is much scarier than last. Go for the Accession in order to banish 2 of our cards to get another big Grapha on the board with the Thunderbird in hand. He then draws into a Hero Lives, sets it and does nothing, and passes back to us. We then draw ourselves a Dark World Dealings, which we decide to activate in order to draw ourselves 2 cards. He draws an Infinite Impermanence that he's forced to discard, and then he also just straight up Rage Quits. Like, I don't know what to tell you, folks. These are match duels, I promise you. They just don't play them. They just leave. It's on them, I guess. This matchup is really bad for us, actually, if they manage to get off and we don't have a Grapha with discards on it. But hey, we take the win. That's 2 technical rank wins. I don't know. You know, I wasn't honestly expecting us to even do remotely well today. This is week 1. We have beaten one of the strongest decks of the format, and somehow beaten Hero, even though they both of them definitely stood a chance if they didn't just absolutely rage quit the game. But hey, we'll take it. We'll send this ranked duel to hell and high water. I may have accidentally dragged the screen a bit. Oh no. And we'll get a treasure. Treasure? Another stack of coins. That's the 2nd one in the deck. Okay, if we find an escape card now, I feel like I'm obliged to actually take it because this is scary. We're forced to keep going, so we'll keep going. An event! Oh no. Okay, so event cards are very, very special. They can do a whole array of things. There are currently 12 of them, some of them much better than others. Let's draw an event card. Oh, you have got to be shitting with me. The Lupine Weekly? Okay, so within the event deck, a faint memory flashes before your eyes, your community waiting for you to start the timer. Will you enter the tourney? You may enter the Lupine Weekly this week, and if you do, rewards and punishment are given out as normal duels with a bonus of finishing in the top 4. Honestly, considering the amount of treasure we are already holding on to, I don't think I will enter the Lupine Weekly this week. However, do keep in mind that the Lupine Weekly does in fact go off every week on our community server with a custom ban list to sort of adhere more to the people who want to have fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! Rather than the ones who want to just metagame. You can check it out in the Discord if you'd like, links in the description. But for now, we will simply shuffle this event card back into the deck, and the event goes away. The event this time was optional. We didn't have to do it. We'll go into the deck again. Son of a gun! Well, I guess it really wants us to have an event, huh? We'll draw. The Greedy Spirit. Okay. A greedy spirit appears before you, begging you to gamble. You may trade in one of your treasure cards, and if you do, roll a d20. On a 0 to 9, we lose the treasure. On a 10 to 14, we draw a new treasure from the deck. On a 15 to 19, we draw 2 new treasures from the deck. And on a 20, we draw 3 new treasures from the deck. We have a pile of coins that's only $1d4 back here. I think we're going to trade that. We'll trade this. We have 2 larger stack of coins that we can save up and gamble with, I guess. If only, if only the program would want to cooperate with me. Okay. We'll sacrifice this pile of coins, and we'll get ourselves a dice. Wow, would you look at that? Through the magic of video editing, I have gotten ourselves a dice. We'll gamba. Why not? So, we're looking for anything 10 or above. Actually, I shouldn't shake it. That's not going to work. We can do it like this. That is an 11. So, on an 11, we'll draw a new treasure from the deck. I suppose that's fine, then. So this has been sacrificed to the Elder God. It's gone. We'll shuffle the treasure deck. And we downgraded to a single coin instead. That's unfortunate. So a single coin is just a $1d2 instead of a 1d4. Straight downgrade there, but you know, that is the way of Gamba, I suppose. We'll leave the dice up here just in case. And the Greedy Spirit is gone. Oh, away he goes. Also, this event card is gone. Away it goes. Onward into the Abyss deck. We really want an escape at this point. Ah, it's a duel. God damn it. I really want to find the escape card. We want to get out. Fine, we'll go another duel. There's not much to do about it. The chances are increasing. Let's go. All right, we got another duel for you. Up against one of the coolest decks I've seen in a while. It's some sort of Striker Valmonica list. I don't know what's going on. But they're also playing the new Maxi, which is Molchummy Perulia, which is just a balanced Maxi. Luckily for us, we can't really walk into this that much because we don't really summon from hand, we summon from the graveyard. We go for Genta, we go for the field spell, banish the Genta, send the Grapha because we don't really have another choice here. Genta comes back, Grapha goes to the graveyard, we can't pop anything, so we summon the Grapha back again so we can Genta once more, hoping to draw into some more cards. We do manage to draw into a Snow off of the first one, which is one of the better draws we could have gotten. We go for the second gates, we do banish the Genta again, we don't get a second Genta effect here, which is unfortunate, but we go get the Snow. Snow is going to get us Dark World Accession, which is just wonderful. We're going to activate it immediately, banishing the 2 cards from our field and graveyard in order to go to Big Grapha. We do have a Silva in hand, so we can kind of do stuff here, but their hand is looking hilarious. And Yellow's going to pitch a trap. We're going to immediately fire off the Grapha here in order to pitch the Silva, hoping that we can get some stuff away. Silva's going to be summoned, they're going to shuffle back 2 of the cards, and they're going to keep their TTT in hand, which is going to allow them to draw 2 more cards, so essentially we just make them neg 1. They draw into Thrust as well, which is just hilarious. As with that, they decide to add Mobilize Engage. Engage is net 3 now, baby. Going for the Widow Anchor to basically negate our Grapha, then activating Engage to have the multiple effects. Going for an Afterburners and then drawing into a Hornet Drones off the top, which is sad. He goes for the Afterburners here and decides not to walk into the trap of having to discard a card, so this player actually knows what he's doing, apparently. He goes for the Hornet Drones and goes into Kagari, Kagari recovering the Engage as everyone could have expected. Engage is then going to be activated again, and this time he's going to add another Widow Anchor to his hand, as well as drawing into a second Triple Tactics Thrust. He's going to summon the Valmonica, banishing the trap from the graveyard, taking 500 damage, and then spinning Grapha back to the deck, which is the best removal you have against this deck. We do take a chunk of damage, but then he manages to get into SP Little Knight, and then banishing our Dark World Accession, so apparently this guy has actually played against Dark Worlds before. We know what his set card is, but we have a bunch of dangers in our hand, and a dream. We go for the Mothman, and we're then going to fire the Thunderbird. Thunderbird is going to destroy the Widow Anchor. We then activate the Bigfoot, Bigfoot pitching Snow, which is perfect. We draw ourselves into Skill Drain. He's going to SP Little Knight the Bigfoot here, which I suppose makes sense, as we draw ourselves into Genta. Going for the Genta here, we're going to activate Genta's effect in order to draw ourselves into our last field spell in the deck, mind you. Activating the field spell and then activating its effect in order to banish the Genta, hoping to draw another card, banishing the Parl. We're going to use Parl's effect to special summon the Silva back to our field, just in case we can get one of the big guys into the graveyard so we can get Silva back to hand. Unfortunately, we don't. We draw into a Brow, and we're forced to just go to battle phase, set, skill drain, and pass. We get our Bigfoot back, as well as them getting their SP Little Knight back, and they are off to the races. They activate the Valmonica field spell in order to add themselves a Valmonica card. I believe that's what it does. Yeah, that's what it does. They go to Self-Trees Valmonica, which is going to add them one of the spells. The spell is going to search them another Valmonica. This is basically what it goes. They take 2 Pendulum monsters. One of them goes into the hand, the other one to the top of the extra deck. That's what it is. They're going to use the effect Pitching the Thrust in order to set both scales, and then activating both scales to Pendulum Summon. When penduluming, they go into Celine, and at this point, I am going to fire the skill drain because they're clearly going into access code. They'll SP my Bigfoot off of the board, but they very quickly realize that skill drain is a very hard card for them to play through, and they scoop it up. Skill drain taking a game, baby! Look, I don't know what the hell's going on today, but apparently this silly little goober deck is just the strongest thing in the world? What's happening? Regardless, we take another duel. This is going to get sent away, and we get ourselves another treasure card from the pile. It's a pile of coins. We'll take it. We're getting very scarce into the card pool now. We are essentially, like, we're still on full HP. So we can afford to lose a couple of duels, but I'd really like to see an escape card now. We get an event instead. This could be both good and bad. Let's see. We already did the Lupine Weekly. I'm going to shuffle you back in and draw another one. Wrathful Guardian. Oh, this is interesting. So with Wrathful Guardian, the next time we would lose a duel, we will destroy it and claim the treasure instead. The card is then discarded. So this is Galatea's card. We haven't actually seen Galatea yet, but we're out looking for her, trust me. So we get ourselves the Wrathful Guardian, which is going to stay on our side for the time being, and in case we lose a duel, we don't take any damage and we will destroy it instead. This event card is now gone. There are 2 escape cards left in the deck, boy. Let's go. Oh, thank God. Okay. I think we are just going to take the escape at this point. We have no reason not to just back out and take our winnings. This episode has been absolutely fucking insane. I want that cash. Let's grab it and go. We're taking the escape. When we choose to escape, they're going to put that card on top there. The event card we currently have gets shuffled back into the deck, so unfortunately Wrathful Guardian is not going to do much. But then we will be able to claim our loot. So I'm just going to put it here, and I'll get some dice ready for us. Alrighty then, our money is prepared. So essentially, at the end of every journey we will take whatever treasure cards are currently available, and we will roll them. Whatever we roll on these is the money that we get. For the coin, heads is $1 and tails is 2, simply for, I don't know, funnies. Let's start with a stack of coins. $4 for the first one. $3 for the second one, and then for the tiny little pile, we get, I believe that's a 4? Oh, it counts the one that's at the bottom. Okay. That's $4. Oop, I may have, ugh. Hey, I had 4. You all saw that. I had 4. I'm rolling it again until it lands on 4. There, we had 4. You all saw it. And then we'll simply flip the coin. That's heads, that's $1. So we've got ourselves 5, 8, $12 to our budget. That's actually really, really good, all things considered. I'll happily take $12. That puts us at 32 for the next episode, which means we're actually going to be able to open quite a lot of stuff. That's awesome. Okay, well, I guess we're heading out of the Abyss. I'll see you guys in the roundup. Well, I guess that's it for the first episode of Sealed Only Dark World. As we begin traveling back to the real world, I figured we may as well take this time to have a bit of a wrap-up of sorts. In this episode, we managed to have 4 duels, somehow by the not even close actually, managing to win all 4 of them. I would still like to say that the duels today were fairly fair though. They weren't really super one-sided and we actually had to put up a fight in all of them, so you know what? I enjoyed it. That means our current record is 4-0-0. I can't believe it, shit all from scratch could never. And that does net us with a massive $32 for next week's opening. I do have some product planned and some ideas on where to go with the deck, but you'll just have to wait until next week to find out. In addition to that though, if you have watched the video this far, I'd like to personally thank you. I know that my content has been a bit up and down as of late, mostly due to work and depression and other sort of I don't know, socio-economical issues, I guess. But I am finally back to full speed, and I'm going to do my best to post episodes of this series whenever possible. I can't promise that they will be weekly, because these do take quite a bit to edit, but I'll try my absolute damnedest to get them out whenever they're ready. If you enjoyed the content, though, please click the subscribe button, because that number truly does motivate me. Leave a like and comment down below on what you would like to see, and if you ever feel so keen, do feel free to support me on Ko-Fi through the link down below in case you want your own supporter card or you just want to buy me a coffee every month to keep me afloat. With that in mind, though, I suppose I get to say this once again, huh? Remember to stay safe out there.